Rick, Tim Reynolds with the AP, all the way in the back.
Yeah, hey.
On a night where obviously you got a ton of contributions from a ton of guys, can you just kind of summarize the jobs that Ben and TJ did for you guys coming off the bench?
Yeah, I mean, those guys were tremendous, and TJ just brought a competitive will to the game. Mathurin jumped in there and immediately was aggressive and got the ball in the basket. And, look, this is the kind of team that we are. We need everybody to be ready. It's not always going to be exactly the same guys that are stepping up with scoring and stuff like that. But, this is how we got to do it. And we got to do it as a team. And we got to make it as hard as possible on them.
Left side, second row here.
Rick, what did you think of the way Tyrese performed tonight? Just a complete game overall as far as scoring, distributing, and also rebounding as well.
Yeah, terrific. I mean, he look, at every game you're going to have to make adjustments against this defense. I mean, there's just going to be different looks. You're going to have different high-level defenders on you. You're going to see some different coverage stuff. It's going to be constantly changing. And so I thought his approach tonight was exactly what it needed to be, a combination of spatial awareness and aggression and, a real good feel for aggression to score along with getting his teammates involved at the right times. And so, he was terrific. Pascal was terrific. Pascal, scored the first 6 points of the game when points were hard to come by. And he did it on 3 difficult shots, one-on-one, fadeaways. Those are tough shots. And so, I was proud of the way we bounced back from a rough ending to the third quarter. That was something that could have shaken us up a lot. But the guys that went back in there to start the fourth they kept their head down and kept competing.
Second row towards the center.
Coach, Guilherme Sacco from ESPN Brazil. I want to ask you about Miles Turner. It looked like he was struggling the whole game, but in the fourth quarter he made like 3 or 4 defensive plays against Chet. And I want to know how you would do to keep all your guys mentally ready for this moment.
Well, Miles is under the weather, and he may not even be with us tomorrow. He just hasn't been feeling well the last couple of days. It was affecting his wind. He won't bring it up, but I think it's just appropriate to mention that he is working through something, some kind of a cold or whatever, but he's just not feeling himself. So, we'll see where things are tomorrow with him. But I thought he did a great job of just taking a couple of deep breaths in the third quarter and just doing a reset and coming back in there ready. And, that's what a lot of this is. You have to be super resilient. Things happen, in milliseconds. I mean, these guys go by you, they're dunking the ball, they're doing this, they're doing that. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Third row on your right.
Rick, just going back to TJ for a second. Obviously, he had several steals tonight, especially in the backcourt. I know you've been seeing that all season. Does it ever surprise you when he's still able to, almost trick teams into that steal? And historically, does it remind you of anyone else?
I don't know. This series features so many special players on both sides. TJ brings some very unique elements to our team, and he brings a unique elements to the game in general. And so, look, we need all of our guys to bring whatever is their thing to our thing and have it be part of our thing, but he's he's a guy that inspires a lot of people. He inspires our team a lot. But listen, this was a great win. We got to turn the page quickly. I mean, there's another game in 36 hours.
Second row on the right.
Coach over here. What did you think of the defense that Andrew Nembhard and both Ben Shepherd played on SGA tonight?
Well, they're giving it their absolute full capacity effort all the time. We have to look at the fouls. Maybe there's some that are avoidable. But look, with him, he's the MVP. You just gotta try to make it difficult, and and we just got to keep platooning people onto him and try to keep our guys fresh somehow.
Coach, a lot of factors to decide a series so tight like that. I want to ask you how much of the environment, the atmosphere will be key for a winner of this championship. Like we see the spark that DJ brought today. And how do you work this with your players?
The crowd, the environment. I thought our crowd was great, and they were everything that we had hoped for tonight. Oklahoma's crowd, we've talked about it in kind of telling our crowd through the media and whatever that we really need them, and they were great, especially in the fourth quarter. It just went up a few decibels, and so it's one of many factors, as you mentioned.
Mark here on left.
Coach, talk about when Ben was out for the playoffs last year. Did you make time to go talk to him, kind of keep him engaged, and what has he meant for you guys in the playoffs this time around?
Yeah, I mean he was with the team. He just wasn't playing, and he took a lot of notes, a lot of mental notes, and he may have written some things down, but I do know that after he sustained the injury, it was either in February or early March. You can order these calendars that start on a specific day and then they count days. And so, I think it was Dr. Elitraj did the surgery, and so there was a calendar that was sitting in our training room, and every day he would come in and take one off, and he was counting the days down to being cleared and sometime in August, and then being able to begin training camp. It began 5-on-5 with our guys in September, and then to begin training camp, really with his eyes firmly set on an opportunity in the playoffs. And so, he's put in a lot of work to be ready for these moments. And tonight he was an absolute major factor.
Jamal here on the left. Oh no, Robert. Fourth row. Thanks.
Hey, Rick. You mentioned earlier that this is who we got to be. This is our team. Over the last couple of years, as this team sort of came into its own, when did the players really start to buy into the identity that they showed in the fourth quarter tonight?
Well, I mean, we have great guys on our team. These guys, it's things that make sense aren't a hard sell for our guys. I mean, we've put an incredible amount of work into becoming better defensively. We're still not great, but we're way better than we were. It's taken tons of work. It's taken tons of, it's constant relationship building. It's a difficult system, and it requires a lot of sacrifice. But when you execute it the right way, whether it's 2 years ago in some game that doesn't seem very meaningful in mid-January, or in Game 3 of the finals, these guys see where important things are important, and hard things are hard. That's a phrase I've used many times. Hard things are hard, but our guys are, they've made the investment, and it's an ongoing thing. It's like a great marriage. It's a lot of work.
Thank you, Coach. Question, second row on the right.
Bennedict, every day when people go out of his house, try to have a nice day. Did you thought about this, that you were going to have a good game today?
Yeah, is that a true question? I'll pray every morning. Oh, that's what you're trying to say? Nah, just pray every day. I know I'm going to have a great day.
Over here on the left side, second row.
Bennedict, you didn't play in the first quarter. I guess how did you kind of stay ready mentally for when you got into the second quarter, and how do you think you've kind of grown when it comes to being ready when your number is called?
Just staying ready. Whenever my number gets called, just to go in the game and do the right things and trying to have my team win. That's the whole mindset.
Over on the right side, third row.
Bennedict, I feel like when the bench came in the second quarter, the energy in the whole building kind of shifted. Did you feel that? Did you feel like maybe there was a little extra juice after you guys went on a run in the second?
For sure. I think, having guys like TJ and Obi gets in the game and Shep, just playing hard. It's a group of guys who play extremely hard, and I think that's exactly what we needed, just to get the fans back on their feet, and everybody was cheering. So,
Scott on the right.
Ben, that's something as a collective, as a bench, you guys talked about, obviously knowing you needed to contribute more. Is that something as a group you talked about, or just knew you took it upon yourself whenever your moment came?
I think that's our job. Like I said, just get in the game and have that mindset. I think that once we get in the game, I told the guys yesterday that we don't have as many chances of the one who start the game. Obviously, we have less minutes, but I think you just have to get in the game with the right mindset, and you just got to give it all you got, win the game.
Dustin here on the left.
Ben, just what got you into rhythm offensively? You're obviously able to hit a lot of those mid-rangers and threes and stuff like that. I mean, how did you find space, and what got you, just into a rhythm shooting-wise?
Pretty much just shooting shots I like. I was able to get in the gym a lot, this week, and just prepare for this game.
Jamal up front.
I know you talked about it in the past before, but last year, going through the experience of not being able to play in the run, how much did you think that helped prepare you for being able to contribute in this run?
I think as much as I was out last year, not being able to play, I learned a lot. Just being on the bench, being next to the coaches who were able to run me through the game and stuff like that. So, I was able to. It was an unfortunate situation, but I was fortunate enough to learn a lot and be ready for this year.
Front right.
Hey, Ben, up here. It seemed like in game two, at certain points, the offense went stagnant and you guys weren't able to move the ball as much. And tonight, there was a lot of off-ball movement, guys cutting towards the rim. What did you see differently tonight that allowed you guys to find so much success in that area?
I think our aggressiveness. I think, the way we started the game, wasn't the best, but we were able to, call a timeout and pretty much execute what we usually do. And I think when we play Pacers basketball, that's the best thing that, we're going to get and the fans are going to get.
Second row here on the left.
Bennedict, Rick Carlisle told us a story about how you were basically counting down the days till you could return from the labrum injury, and you were like coming in every day, taking the sticky note off of the calendar. Can you describe what that was like for you? And then secondly, what does Obi Toppin mean to this team from an energy standpoint?
It was crazy. I think that I don't want to say it that way. A lot of people enjoy playing basketball, but I really love playing basketball. I think it's, family and basketball for me. So, me not being able to play, I wish I could do anything to be on the court, but I couldn't. So, like I said, trying to put myself in positions where I could learn about the game and just improve as much as I can. And Obi has been great, man. He's been the player that, I wouldn't expect less of him, because he's a source of energy and, he's always smiling. He has a contagious energy. So just him coming to the game and bringing, whatever it is, defense or offense, it's always great to have.
Last question here on the left side, standing.
You got 27 points, outscore OKC bench by yourself. How important was the energy from the crowd for you tonight?
You said how was the?
How was important of the crowd in the fan energy? Yeah.
They were very, very important. I think that the state of Indiana is about basketball. And that's the first time that I really felt it. And as much as this is a dream right now, I'm not trying to live in my dream, I'm trying to like live in the present and make sure the dream ends well, which means winning next game and winning a championship. So if the fans can help me, that's the best I can get.
Thank you.
Congratulations on 27 points.
Say it again.
Congratulations.
Oh, appreciate you, my boy. Appreciate you.
Calm down, bro. I just walked in here. Let him breathe, man. Let him breathe.
We'll go first question here in the front and the center on one. Just hold on for the mic.
Hi, Ty. Dave Schrader from WBAY up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We caught up with your high school coach this week, Brad Weber, and one of the things that I noticed from watching you at Oshkosh North and now watching you on the final stage that stands out is the ability to play with calm amidst chaos. Coach Weber was saying that even in finals, even in the playoffs, you're having conversations all the time. I'm wondering how much staying in your routine, in those conversations with people back home, mean to you as you try to stay grounded and in the moment and not let the noise creep in.
Yeah, it's important for me at a time like this to talk to people whose opinions I respect. Coach Weber is one of those. Being my high school coach, Coach Prom is in the back there, my college coach. I've had many conversations with those guys because they've seen me in many different scenarios and situations, and I'm just trying to play the right way. I think, these games can get crazy, and I think what I've learned from those guys as my coaches and Coach Carlisle, is that people follow, the leader, and that typically is our coaches. When things are going crazy and those guys remain calm, it's easy for us to remain the same way. So I try to look at it in the game that way as well. Just try to, be as relaxed as I can, because if anybody's looking at me, I want them to feel confident, no matter what. So just trying to play the right way. There's good games, there's bad games, but I hate to say it like this, but it is a child's game. This means the world to me, and I'm really excited to be here, and I love what I do, and I love this game. But I do think it's important that you don't overreact at any point. Just enjoy what you're doing.
Second row here on the left.
Ty, what does Obi mean to this group? I know you had the round the back dish to him to kind of get yourself going. He has the big putback dunk late, but just the growth you've seen from him throughout the years and having him as a teammate.
Yeah, Obi's been so big for us, all year, past 2 years. His energy, and when we traded for him, I had like a pretty funny tweet, but I think that he consistently continues to bring pace into the game. That's what he does. When it's not going well and when it is going well, he continues to bring that pace to the game. And he's flying up the floor and you're hitting him ahead. And he did a great job today of making the right play, had a huge tip-in dunk, and those are huge energy plays for this building. And he fits so perfect with what we do. And when we traded for him, I was really excited, not only because of our personal relationship, but because of how well he can help this group. So, he's going to continue to do that. And, he was really big. Our bench was really big tonight as a whole. So we need that consistently. We preach depth. We've talked about it all year. Our second unit did a great job of being prepared today.
Same row, third seat.
Samson Folk with Basketball She Wrote.
What's up, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yes, sir.
So you had that show on Shea where you forced to travel, and then towards the end of the game, you guys were like a trash compactor, keeping those guys in. How hard is it to set the edge and keep a guy like that bottled up? Like the ball pressure at the level of the screen was incredible.
Yeah, I think with Shea, he's so good. He's so slippery, in between those gaps. It's like he splits screens that you're like, I don't know how he's doing that. And I think in game 2 specifically, if you watch a lot of my coverages, I did a poor job of being at the level. I was back, and then he could come off, and he had so much space. And now he's kind of manipulating me with in and out, or he can just split and throw through. I thought that was something we really had to clean up coming into today. And you're consistently trying to mix things up, because if you give any good player the same look over and over, it can be really tough. So, whatever it is, a show at the level, I just can't be flat. If I'm flat, there's nothing I can do with him coming downhill. So, just consistently trying to grow. And as you know, it never is like always perfect. Sometimes you got to figure it out. And I think the big thing that makes it easier is when Drew is really blowing through, those screens. And, I think more times than not, he's getting held and having to fight through. And it's the finals. It's physical basketball. But I thought he did a great job of really fighting through. And if I can just hold him for a second, give him more time to get back square, it makes things easier. So just got to do a better job of being at the level, presenting myself as much as I can. Because if I'm back, he's a really tough cover.
On your right, Dan.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Bennedict Mathurin, 27 points in 22 minutes. I think 5 of those 9 buckets were in the paint. I know there's been so much conversation about getting in the paint. What did he bring to you guys off the bench tonight? And, what did you see of his ability to get downhill?
Yeah, I thought he just did a great job of just playing within what we do so well. He did a great job of coming off handoffs, reading the pocket, rising up for the mid-range. This is a defense that will give that up, analytically, that's not the best shot. But I thought he did a great job of hunting that, getting downhill. And what Ben does at such a high level is get to the free throw line. And in this series, we need to get free throws. We need to get to the paint. And I thought Ben did a great job of that. Our bigs were great, Miles and Obi and Pascal, of setting solid screens to allow us to really get in the pocket and make reads. And I thought he was unbelievable. I thought he did a great job in transition as well, forcing the issue, getting downhill. So he just made big play after big play. And that's the great thing, about the finals, the great thing about basketball. When you have a team with this much depth, it can be anybody's night. And just so proud of the way that he responded, tonight. And I feel like he's had a great series, honestly. And, that was a big game and huge minutes for us. And it's a guy that we missed heavily last year in our run. And we can consistently talked about it, all year, how important it's going to be, for him to be a part of this playoff run. And you're seeing why that is. So he was a huge reason, for our victory tonight.
Third row on your left.
Hey, Tyrese. Jake Nissy, right here. Jake Nissy from the Daily Mail. There was a point early in the first quarter you guys fell down. I think it was 15-6, quick timeout. What was kind of said during that break, and kind of how does this group keep finding the spirit to keep coming from behind in games?
Yeah, I mean, the conversation was like, we got to wake up. I think that was the biggest thing. We had a couple bad turnovers there. We were playing a little antsy probably is the right word. But I thought we just did a great job of responding. Like, it's the NBA. 10 points is nothing. 20 points is nothing. No lead is safe. So you just got to put your head down and just one play at a time. That's what it is. One play, one quarter, whatever the case is. Try to, look at it in increments that way, so you can stick with it. So, we didn't start the game the way we wanted to. I thought our first quarter was poor, but our second unit did a great job of giving us energy to start that second quarter. And we just rode that wave, from there. So definitely got to get better starts. The first 3 minutes and the last 3 minutes of every quarter are so important, especially in a time like this. So, we weren't good to start the third quarter either. So, watch the film, see where we can get better, continue to improve.
All the way in the back under the camera.
Tim Reynolds with the AP. With due respect to TJ, when he comes in and loses his mind the way that he likes to do, what does that mean? We know it's the impact on the crowd. We see that. What does it mean for the huddle? What does it mean in the room? What does it mean that this is a guy who's still willing to play that way? Like, he's like one of one in a lot of ways. And then obviously he did stuff tonight that's never been done off the bench in a finals game. Just what has he meant top to bottom for this group?
Yeah, I think his energy is unbelievable. You guys know he's definitely a crowd favorite. I joke with him. I call him the Great White Hope. He does a great job of bringing energy in this building, and I think people feed off that. And he had a couple unbelievable steals. I think in the series like this, what's so important is the margins. You got to win in the margins. It's not necessarily who can make the most shots or anything. It's taking care of the ball, rebounding, little things like that. I thought he does a great job of just giving us energy plays consistently, and getting downhill and operating. I mean, nobody operates on the baseline like that guy, So I thought he did a great job of consistently getting there and just making hustle play after hustle play, and sticking with it. And I thought we did a great job of just feeding off of what he was doing. He's been like a big brother to me since I've gotten here. And, a guy, you look at TJ McConnell and like his story is unbelievable, So, I just enjoy being able to play alongside him, and the energy he gives his teammates and this building is a lot of fun.
Dustin and Howard, last two.
I thought Furphy was the Great White Hope again.
Well,
he took it back.
it's in a
TJ
slow
took it back.
transition right now.
Right, I
It's in a slow transition. You see the energy that he gets when he comes in the game too. Yeah, we got 2 great White Hopes currently.
That's true. Okay. You obviously talked in between game 2 and game 3 about the importance of just mixing things up, playing off the pitch a little bit more. Just what did you like about just the way you attacked their defense, the way you were able to get the ball in the paint and get yourself some sort of downhill rhythm in this game?
Yeah, I think we did a great job of just playing off the pitch, off handoffs, screening, all those things. I thought we did a great job of. This is a defense that you can't consistently give them the same look. You know, if you try to hold the ball and call for screens, like they just crawl into you and then they, pack the paint, and it's not easy. You know, it's really tough. That's why they're, such a historical defense. They do such a great job of that. So you got to just continue to give them different looks, as much as you can. So, I thought we did a great job of just playing and continuing to play random basketball. And there's no, against a team like this, there's not really play calls. You just got to play. So, I thought we did a great job of responding. Now we got to watch the film, see where we can get better. Still room for improvement. We got adjustments to make. They got adjustments to make. But, just got to consistently play, pace after random basketball, and good things happen. So, I thought we did a great job of doing that tonight.
Howard, last one.
Howard Beck from The Ringer. Tyrese, you impact the game a lot of different ways, not just scoring, obviously, but when you don't score, there is sometimes some chatter. How cognizant were you of that chatter the last couple of days? Was it a conversation you had with coaches at all? And how do you go about kind of calibrating that balance between the playmaking and scoring in general?
Yeah, I think the commentary is always going to be what it is. Most of the time, the talking heads on the major platforms, I couldn't care less, honestly. Like, what do they really know about basketball? But I think as a group, and watching film myself, seeing where I can get better is important. And at a time like this, I'm not really on social media as much. I try to stay off it as much as I can. But you see it, and ESPN might be on in my house, and there it is. And it is what it is. But I think just seeing where I can be better is the most important thing. And having that reflection with myself. I talk a lot, obviously, with my trainer, Drew, and Coach Carlisle and all those guys. And it's a, constant conversation of seeing where I can get better. There was adjustments that had to be made coming into today for me, and I thought I did a better job at that. And I'll watch film again and see where I can get better. But, I think there's going to be ebbs and flows. I'm never going to be, super great and shoot so many shots every game consistently. There's going to be games where I don't, and I got to be able to find the right balance between the two. But I think it's experience is the best way that I can learn from it. So seeing where I could be better is important through the first 2 games, and just trying to be better today. Taking what the defense gives me, trying to play the right way, and watch film, see where I can get better, and be ready to go for game 4. But the commentary is what it is at this point. It doesn't matter. We're here in the NBA Finals, 2 wins away from an NBA championship. So, just got to stay with it, put my head down, keep working. And as a group, we just got to keep learning from our mistakes, seeing where we can get better, and take it a day at a time.
All right, we'll take questions around the room. Please raise your hand. Robert, back left. Thank you.
Hey, Pascal. The first thing that Rick said was, that's who we are, that's who we got to be. And I'm curious, you haven't been here that long, but when did you feel like this team really started to buy into the identity that you guys have become, where you just run it up and down the floor, and kind of what we saw most of the night tonight?
I think since I've been here, I think it's been what we've been doing, and that's one of the things that attracted me to be here. Just the style of play, fast pace. That's just who I always been. So it was a good matchup, and a good pair, and I feel like we've been since I've been here. That's who we've been.
One up front and the Blues. Vince, we got a mic coming up the side.
Pascal, Vince Goodwill from Yahoo Sports. We hear so much about how great Oklahoma City's defense is, and maybe you're trying to look and hunt for the perfect shot in the first 2 games. Did it feel like you were much more intentional of just finding a good shot and going with that, as opposed to maybe running the shot clock down and trying to find something perfect?
I don't think that was our game plan, but if you say it is, then maybe it is. But I think we're just trying to play basketball. Obviously, we know how good they are as a team, and But at the same time, we just got to be us, and I think that's what we try to do.
Over here on the left side.
James Boyd, the Athletic. Pascal, I got you. When you look at the way Obi impacts the game from being a big running the floor like that, how does he give you all energy? And do you ever, seriously, when you see him dunk the ball, like maybe God just gave that to him and a few others, you know?
He's gifted. Like, I mean, we know what he can do, and he's one of the fastest out there, you know, in the league as a big to, you know, run the floor. He's perfect for what we want to do, and obviously his athleticism it's just crazy. But yeah, I just love when he's aggressive, you know, playing defense, running, and again using his athleticism to, you know, to just get in the paint, rebounds, anything that he can do out there, you know, as a big that can move. And so he's been great for us. And he the whole bench, not just Obi, like the whole bench tonight was really great. And they affected the game, and they played with so much energy. TJ, Bennedict, Thomas even for a couple of minutes, like Ben Shep. It was great. I think we need that from them for sure.
Dustin?
Pascal, obviously I think got the first 3 buckets of this game, and just how important was it for you to get started and established early, and what do you feel like you guys did better collectively at getting the ball in the paint and being able to kind of clear out space for you guys to operate?
No, we were just more aggressive, playing fast, moving the ball, and just attacking. Just simple as that.
Tony?
Pascal, the night Bennedict Mathurin just had, you talk with him often, have a good relationship with him. What did you see from him mentally that allowed him to approach the game maybe a little different and have the night that he did?
No, I mean, I think he was great, just being aggressive. Like, that's who we want him to be. And when he's aggressive, he's active on defense. He's picking up full court. He's cutting. Like, when he's doing that, like, I mean, it looks easy out there for him. So we just want him to keep that same mindset and energy every single day. And I know that, again, his minutes might be here and there, and he just keeps going, and that's what we're gonna need from him.
Howard in the back.
Howard back from the Ringer. Pascal, there are nights when Tyrese obviously impacts the game greatly with his playmaking alone, and then there are nights like tonight where the scoring element comes with it too. Do you see anything different in those games from him? Is there an aggression you can pick up on early on, and how big a difference does it make when he's adding the scoring on top of the passing and playmaking?
Yeah, Ty's just got to do him. Again, that's all he's got to do. He's got to be himself every time he's out there on the floor, and you know, he can impact the game in so many ways. So I'm really not worried about his scoring. Like, I just know that he's gonna make the right play. But when he's intentional about doing that every single play, like I would know something good is gonna happen. So as long as he keeps doing that, we're gonna be all right.
Scott on the right.
Scott Agnes, Fieldhouse Files. This series, you guys have had to overcome these double-digit deficits, and while you're good at it, how much different is the late-game scenarios when it's even or you guys have the lead? What does that enable you guys to do late and then have success?
No, we want to continue to just play our game, and obviously, I mean, I think in any game when you're down 20, like it's just hard. So we got to continue to just play to our strengths and fight to the end, and whether we up or down, like, our level of intensity got to be the same, but obviously it helps that, you know, you're not having to, you know, have comebacks and things like that. So just continue to fight through everything, adversity. Like they got, when they get hot, we just got to keep playing, and you know, hopefully it's a close game and we can win at the end, which is good.
Last two on the second row and on the right.
Hey, Pascal. Obviously, towards the end of the game, stepping out on Shea, almost getting screened off, stepping out.
See you, man.
Yeah, likewise.
I know,
man.
yeah,
I came all the way just
from Toronto.
Yes.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, it's been a while. Anyway, great stop on Shea, and then you beat him down the floor. Obviously, your work ethic is well renowned. How much of in the finals that opportunity to just like push a little harder, like get that stop, but also beat him down the floor? How much does that impact what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's who we are. It's all effort. We have guys that's just gonna continue to fight, and the days where, you know, we do that, you know, like we put ourselves in a good position every single night we do that. So for me personally, like that's why I'm here. Like I want to just continue to breathe spirit to this team, and
And I think somebody asked me a question the other day about like, oh, is like nobody scored 20 points yet against, like it's like that's not like what we focused on. That's what I'm focused on. Like I want to continue to do everything that I can for my team to win, and if that means like guarding, running fast, trying to get a rebound there, diving on the floor, like whatever the case might be, like that's all I'm gonna do, and I think that's what makes us special. Like we have guys that's willing to do that every single night.
Last question, Dan, on your right.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. I want to ask you about one of those guys. TJ McConnell, 5 steals tonight. I think 3 of them were off of inbounds, leading directly to baskets.
Yeah.
What does he bring when he checks in the game? What does that kind of boost give you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's when TJ is playing with that type of energy. Like, I mean, obviously the crowd loves him, so it's great for us. Every time he does something good, like they go crazy. And he's just so dynamic in terms of just like running the floor for us, like getting us in position, and then when he add those steals and just bringing the crowd into the game the way he does, like he was special tonight. And it wasn't about scoring, like it was just about his energy and the things that he did, like just getting steals, getting us in position, like finding people in cutting situations. So yeah, shout out TJ for sure.
Thank you, Pascal. This is it for tonight.